Welcome back to the Trifecta Airsoft Podcast. I'm your host, E-Rock. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so you never miss another podcast. Also, do me a favor. Go on to whatever podcast app you listen to us on and give us a rating and review. That really helps us rank in the searches. Thank you so much. Let's get into the podcast.
Yes,
Welcome.
sir.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. Should be a good time.
Yeah, man. So we planned this a while ago. And,
Yeah.
Now we're finally doing it.
Heck yeah, man. That's all right. All good things sometimes have to be postponed.
That's it. Well, so is it Nico or Tony?
My maiden name's Tony, but boys usually call me Nico. Been going by that since like high school.
Oh,
It's something that kind of stuck by me, so I decided to just kind of keep rolling with it. So it even follows me into like work. Some people that'll know me walk in, they'll say, "Hey, what's going on, Nico?" My coworkers be like, "What the hell?" But it's usually a good way to get my attention.
Right. Okay. Hell yeah, man. So you got a bunch of tattoos on your arms. What you got going on there?
Heck yeah. If I didn't have
look
such
awesome.
like long, thanks, man. Try to have a nice, unique look for a ginger. Try to differentiate from everybody else.
Yeah.
But I was a tattoo assistant with a buddy of mine a little while ago, and it really got me into it. And we kind of kept in touch. So every so often, I'll kind of go to him, throw him a couple hundred, see what he does. I don't even really have a request when he does it.
Really?
I just kind of like, hey, I want you to draw something up on the fly, slap it on me, and we'll ride with it.
Dude, that's cool.
Like, for example, I have a Jackalope right here, and he was busy the one day inside his shop, so I decided to I went to his buddy that was just kind of free on the side, and he's like, walk around the mall for about 30 minutes, come back here, and I'll have something drawn up. And I was like, all right, cool. Took a stroll around the mall with my buddy, kind of got some food, came back. This guy's like, damn, what do you think? And I was like, that's got to go on me. I said, I don't care where it's going to go on. It's just got to go on me somewhere. He's like, awesome. He's like, you want color? I said, dude, I want you to have fun with it. And
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
But yeah, I'm definitely an impromptu kind of person. My hand tattoo, I was going through a bad time, kind of wanted some ink, and hit my buddy up. I said, hey man, are you free? I said, I need some work done. He's like, yeah man, shoot on over. And I was like, yo, I said, I got an Anubis up here, but I also want to do something crazy and out of absurd. So I'm thinking my hand. He's like, well, what do you think? And I said, well, I got a quarter here. I said, heads, I get this filled in. Tails, and I get my hand done. Well, tails never fails, man. And I definitely got this hand tattoo, and it was worth it. And every second. And all right, so let's not do this. All right, close that out.
That's cool.
Vibing earlier. But yeah, that's kind of the same thing with like this whole airsofting thing, man. I just kind of like jumped into it head first, and I don't have any regrets. Like,
how did you get introduced to it?
When I was a kid, a bunch of my friends used to do it, and you know how you probably started. You went in your friend's backyard, shot each other with some BBs,
little springers.
had a good time. Yeah, but after a while, I grew out of it, lost contact with them. Had a buddy of mine who needed a ride up to a game once, and he says, if you take me for a ride, I'll pay for you. I said, all right, cool. So I took him out to a place called Poco Loco. It's just outside of Reading, PA. And it's a very, like, earthy field. Like, it's a lot of rocks, a lot of trees, a lot of hills. Pain in the ass to be on for your first one. But I fell in love with it first time. And I was like, yo, this is awesome. This is something I really needed. This is the exercise I've been looking for. And it also inspired me to start, like, hiking, getting out in the woods. It started to get me into the gym. It did a lot. It did a lot for me. And I'm so thankful for it. And on the way, like, we just started going out with more of his friends, started kind of grouping up, and eventually, what was it, like 2 years into it, I was like, yo, we need to build like a name, like some sort of emblem. And I came up with Lebanon Airsoft Society. And Lebanon's the city I'm from, and generally our members are about an hour away from here, just far enough that wherever we go for an event, we can probably hitchhike with somebody, get them on board on like a carpool, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's cool, man. Okay. Yeah, man. That's how a lot of people get into it. It's just really, they played it a little bit when they were younger, and then as they got older, like, you get out of high school, you start working or doing whatever, and then somebody's like, "Hey, have you played airsoft?" Like, no, what? Not since I was like 12. What are you talking about? And then they go, almost everyone I've had on here, they it's like the first time they go, they're hooked.
Yeah, yeah.
There was only one guy. There was one guy that he had the opposite experience when he's in Japan. He's got a really good YouTube channel, actually. It's Mayday-san. So Mayday and then SAN, Mayday-san.
I might be following, possibly.
Yeah. He his first time he went by himself. Like, he saw videos, right? YouTube videos, Novrich and all that kind of stuff. And he went by himself. Nobody talked to him. He didn't know the field, so he was spent 90% of his time in spawn, and he hated it. He left there and said, I wasn't even going to go back and play. I was going to turn my gun back in. I was going to take it back. And so a friend of his said, hey, just try it again. Go to this other, maybe go somewhere else. So he went to a different field. It was indoor. Went to a different field. Everyone was super nice there, and said, hey, man, what do you, this is your first time, whatever, and, you're new and that kind of thing. So the people changed it for him,
Yeah.
So then he was hooked. But most of the time it's people go and they're like, oh, shit, this is awesome.
I don't think I've really ever met anybody that just kind of found it on the internet or just kind of locally and then just kind of jumped into it and then started from there. Yeah, that's usually like a common theme is people like kind of love to bring their friends out and let them experience it for themselves. I think this past year I've taken 3 of my friends out, including my girlfriend, and she has a little bit of asthma, but I mean, she said she's like, when it gets colder out, definitely let me get out there, some lighter gear. I have like my gear's about like 30 pounds, and she was wearing the top half, so she took the full brunt of it. But I mean, like, even if you're like dying out there and you're getting hurt, you're tripping up, whatever, you're still having a good time. Like, I don't know what it is. It's the adrenaline or it's the camaraderie aspect of it, but it's definitely worth bringing out new people and seeing their like expressions for the first time.
Right.
Takes you back.
Yeah, I think too. It's like it's like when you get into a match, like a shooter, like Call of Duty or Halo or whatever. Like, you're on this small map. You get killed, but then you go, okay, I'm gonna go this way this time. You keep trying, and then you get that one kill. You're like, yes, yeah. It's
like fast adaptation. It's like you're like you're treating your brain to like develop like mechanisms to handle certain situations, like a plethora of different things that can go on in this one scenario.
Yeah, you're like puzzle solving skills. Okay, go this way, try this one, try that one.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. And a lot of it, like, I do like hiking. So for example, like tomorrow, like I've been packing. I have 20 miles. Nice. I have a 20-mile hike I'm doing tomorrow out in the AT.
Bro, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm training for the 4-state. The 4-state's going through from West Virginia up to the PA border. Yeah. And you're pretty much doing the entire Delaware section of it. I failed my last time. Me and my buddy went, and we did 40 miles out of the 47. And we ended up like coming up to this third to last mountain range, and we probably ran out of water maybe like 10 miles back before we even got to the spot. We finally found this little stream to go fill up some water. And this is, mind you, like the temperature, like the day just turned to night. We just hit the opposite side of the mountain where the wind was. It was dark. It was cold. And I mean, talking from like a 20 temperature drop, it was fucking crazy.
Oh my God.
So I fall to my knees. I take off my pack. And mind you, I'm rocking with like 40 some pounds on me. I take my bag off, get my water pump, hand it to my buddy. I was like, yo, fill this up. It's like, I'm just going to sit here for a second. And like, I wasn't exactly aware on how quick hypothermia sets in.
Yeah.
But like my body instantly started shutting down, and like I remember my eyes forced itself closed. My hands felt like they were going numb. My legs went numb. I was like, "Oh God, this is it." My buddy grabs me by my shoulder or my back, and he's like, "You cannot sleep here. You're gonna die." He's like, "Let's go." And I was like, "All right, you convinced me." And I rolled over, put the bag on. We walked about another 12 miles past this mountain range. And in Delaware, if you've ever gone hiking in Delaware, it's mostly flat, right?
Okay.
Up until you get into the top of the mountains. Now, in most places, when you get to the top, it plateaus and then you come down. Delaware likes to plateau and they give you boulders to climb onto before you incline or you decline directly down like a 90-degree. It's crazy. So we got over this mountain range, across the mountain or the highway, and find the shelter. My buddy didn't have like a crazy big jacket on him. This is like February too. Like this is as cold as it was supposed to get.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I gave him my emergency blanket and my pad to sleep on because he was like afraid of dying of hypothermia, and I was like, I understand that. And I sat there trying to make a fire, but the wind was too much and stuff around me was too wet. I couldn't make one, and I was like, whatever. I gave up, and I had this heated jacket on. And I remember the little red dot was on, and I was like, mentally, I'm keeping myself warm because I see red, whatever, there's a correlation there. And about 10 minutes into it, it's just turned off. I was like, no, this ain't happening.
Batteries went out.
Like,
oh, no.
I was like, all right, screw it. So I sat there, I forced myself to shiver. And I was generating my own heat. And every so often, every few hours, I'd stop shivering to, like, quiet myself to listen to him, make sure he's breathing. Yeah. We got through it. The morning cracked open. I got down. It was just bright enough where I found some dry stuff, made myself a small fire. I turned on the radio. He woke up. We got an Uber, got to the car. It was only 10 miles away. We could have done it, but like it was pretty grueling. We went to an all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet. It was so good. I ate
like the best food you ever had, bro.
10 pancakes, man. I slammed them. It was so good. I'm gonna do it again coming up here in October, though. October 1st. I'll be hitting the West Virginia border. I'll be hitting this again. But one of the best places to ever hit on the way through there is a place called Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. Beautiful little historic town that took really big part in the Civil War. It was a huge trading hub. So when you come into the town, you're on the top of the mountain coming down, and the town's in the middle of a delta that leads into a river. So when you come in, there's a major train station that comes through the mountain. It's a beautiful sight. You got to look it up. There's beautiful pictures that people take of it.
What's it called? I'm going to look it up right now.
Harper's Ferry, West Virginia.
Okay. Let's check it out. I'll pull it up on screen.
Yeah.
I got this thing turned.
Man, the West Virginia people are so nice, too. They're hospitable. And they're like really, really into the hiking community.
Oh, for sure. I spent a lot of time going through West Virginia, so years and years. Because I was, my wife and I are from Cleveland, Ohio, and her parents lived down here in South Carolina for like 35 years. So we, when our kids were little, we drove down here sometimes 2-3 times a year from Ohio. So we went through the West Virginia Turnpike many, many, many times. I mean, I can't even count how many times. In 15 years that we were driving down here, so before we moved here. And West Virginia is beautiful, man. Okay, Harper's Ferry.
I love it. Beautiful hiking, hunting weather, or hunting country.
Yeah, let's pull this up. Yeah, hunting, right. And the thing was too, growing up in Ohio, like Ohio didn't have rifle. I think, rifles weren't allowed for deer hunting. It was shotguns. And, of course, bow hunting. But West Virginia, rifles were allowed because you can't go a football field without there being a mountain or a hill. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going up and down somewhere. So something's going to take the impact of that bullet. But, all right, let's see.
That's what I love about Pennsylvania, man. We have, the hunting culture out here is immense. Like our game commission, like as much as I may have had personal experiences with them, I still respect the jobs that they do. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
They allow a lot of things to thrive here. So our hunting and our fishing, no matter how many people get into it, man, we always have a surplus with wildlife.
Okay. Now, have you
But
been
yeah,
doing the? Yeah, this is pretty, man. Harper's
yeah,
Ferry. So I want to.
love the movie
So
back then. Oh my
my
god.
wife. Let's see if there's other pictures here. My wife and I, we just got back from Utah. We went hiking out at Moab,
Yeah,
and it's really pretty, man. If you ever play, anyone that's listening or watching, if you ever played Red Dead Redemption,
of
that's
course,
the
that's my favorite
scenery.
game.
Oh, is it?
Oh
Okay,
my
dude.
god.
That
Yes,
scenery in that game is just like what we came out of last week.
that's
So,
beautiful.
oh, it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
What was it? 4 or 5 years ago, I took a trip out to Colorado. I
Yep.
had a buddy who invited me out there to go stay for a weekend.
Hmm.
And being from the east here, man, you don't see any desert-like,
Yeah.
areas. I mean, there's some places hiking kind of seems like that, but not really Savannah-like. But man, when I went out to Colorado, we went out to this place called the Garden of the Gods, and it was some of the most beautiful rockscape I've ever seen in my life. Like, I didn't see any. Like, I was hunting buffalo. I wanted to see a buffalo,
Dude,
just
that's
not
awesome.
hunting, but
Yeah,
I wanted
yeah.
to see it.
Looking for him, right?
Yeah, yeah. I seen some. I think was it gazelles.
Yeah.
I think those are out
I
there,
saw a couple
but
of them. Yeah.
yeah, that was it was intense because it's like a whole other landscape. A buddy of
It
mine
really
just went down to
is.
Florida, and I told him, I was like, dude, the only thing I want you to do down there the whole week is send me one picture of an alligator. I don't care. I just want to see anything of it. And he found baby ones to go take a
Oh
picture of
shit.
for me. So that was fun.
Oh,
I
that's cool.
appreciate that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
The now driving out there to Moab, um, we saw. Did we see buffalo? No. We saw, deer and whatever, all kind of that stuff on the landscape on the sides while we're driving. But when we were there and hiking and stuff, we saw hawks and then lizards, small lizards, like desert lizards,
Yeah.
and that was it. That was it. I saw one frog.
What?
But the areas we went, man, we went like so. This shirt, like the arches, right?
Yeah.
In Moab, that's like the most popular like area, and it's a good. I think it's a 12-mile stretch of road that they've put through the mountain. And what they did was they did pull-off points for each like trailhead. So you can drive through, you drive up this giant mountain, get up there, and then you can park in these little areas
Yeah.
where you can walk through the trails to find this like what was the one called Balance Rock or something like that? This giant, huge boulder that
Yeah.
is probably it's like the size of a pickup truck that's sitting on top of this peak that's
I've seen
like
pictures of that.
balancing,
I know
bro.
what you're talking about. That's
Yeah,
awesome. You actually seen
it's
that?
so wild to see in person. Like you're sitting there waiting for it to fall. It's like,
Yeah.
how long has this been? It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
That's It reminds me of that picture. There's a same kind of rockscape out west where it's two walls and there's a boulder in between them. Like somehow, some way, perfectly cemented itself right there. And
Uh
just
huh.
any day, it'll just boom fall.
It'll fall.
Yeah. And you just want to be that one lucky person to get a video or a picture of it.
Right.
Oh my God, it would be worth so much money,
That'd be crazy.
right?
I'm sure that people go up there. Well, the community out there, it's a lot of tourists and stuff. And obviously, I got this shirt at the visitor center, and I went out. I was a pure tourist, man. I didn't care. I was like, I'll look like one. But there's a lot of backpackers, go out there, and the park is open. Like if somebody wants to go out there and hike at night, they can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people stay, but I like how they do the daytime hours of the park for at least for the Arches area
Yeah.
is they're I mean it's immaculate, bro. There is no trash. There is no, and they get a lot of people in there, but they limit how many people. Like you have to go online on their website and pick a time slot that you want to go, and they only
So do
they only
like
have a certain amount of tickets.
so they have like a check-in point? Oh wow.
Yeah, they have a check-in point.
Crazy.
So they won't allow now after 4 p.m. Then it's free. You can go whenever you want because it's not as busy. So they limit the amount of people that are in there each hour during the day because it helps keep it where, because all those pull off points, there's only like 10 or 12 parking spots for each trailhead. And but anyway, the trailhead, all the trails are, there's no trash. I didn't see one thing of empty water bottle or a can, or no food wrappers,
what
no
those
nothing.
ticket prices are paying for is probably picking for that litter cleanup, the maintenance out there.
Well,
that's
the
beautiful
people
to
too,
see,
man. They're like, we saw families sitting there with their little kids, and they would, they have little bathroom stations at these pull-off points at some of the trailheads, and they have, they have trash cans and stuff, and they have park rangers out there, park employees out there doing stuff. But a lot of people are just like, hey, making their kids throw the stuff in the trash can and keeping their trash. Like one lady dropped something, the wind blew, and she went and chased it, the paper plate, and got it, and like threw it away.
Oh,
it's
awesome.
Just, it's like it's a respectful kind of environment there. It really is.
Yeah.
So and I love that, man.
I love hearing those. And like, don't get me wrong, like I pick up litter. I go to like my local railroad crossings, and I'll go and pick up litter there because it's a wind tunnel, and I'll go there.
Yep.
But like, one of my last hikes, I was doing a solo one. Probably got back from like 8-9 miles. I found these really weird, inconspicuous letters on this hike. I know it's a little off topic from litter, but it was these like weird letters about like secret societies, like Nazis, the Waffen SS, the Black Sun Society. I think I still have them. Actually.
No way. They were just like trash blowing around?
Yeah. No. They were folded up neatly, and one of them was in a paper clip with a Z. I thought it was a Z, but it's an S. And the other two were wrapped in cellophane and hidden a little bit. So when I found first one, I went...
Are you sure it's not one of those, what's that, the thing that people do? Oh my God.
Oh, the geocaching? Talk about geocache?
Geocache.
Yeah, no, this was just some like schizophrenic dude like trying to fuck with people. There was like a whole thing on like Reddit about like this happening in the area, like down in Delaware, the people like 2 hours up north from here. And I posted in my airsoft Discord, in one of the airsoft Discords for Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And one of the dudes was like, "Yo, I found one of those last week, like 20 miles away from where you're at." And I was like, "No way." So I was like, "All right, cool." So I kept all three of them, and at first I thought they were all like coded the same way. I thought it was just a printed thing. They're all different. They're all different coatings. So on my Instagram, I have it posted up. I threw them away. I didn't want to keep them around, but it was a weird thing. And on my way back to the litter thing, I got back up to my car, and there's two dudes out there smoking meth. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm minding my own business. I'm a ginger with long hair and a kilt coming out of the woods, seeing two meth heads like trashing their car, like throwing everything out, trying to look for a camera or something. Like, this is classic meth head behavior. This is beautiful.
Right?
Dude comes up to me and he's like, thrashing. I was like, "Hey man," I grabbed my knife. I said, "Back up." And I was like, "Bro, I will mess you up." And he's like, "I was just trying to ask you." I said, "I don't give a shit what you're asking for. Back up. Step back to your car." He goes back to his he's itching his arm, and he goes back to his buddy. He's pointing to me, talking to him, and I dipped out as fast as I could. But yeah, like we don't have people picking up litter around here. We usually have people trashing it, being assholes. But that's the country for you, man. I mean, people are crazy.
They lost respect for their environment, like they're not just the outdoors either. Like people don't respect their house and their cars and themselves. Like, and I think if you're doing meth, like,
I think you have more issues than the environment.
You don't have to be OCD about. Yeah, that's true, right? Like you don't have to be OCD about cleaning your room or cleaning your house or cleaning your car and stuff, but it kind of is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. If like if you have just stuff everywhere and it's dirty and you have cat poop all throughout your house and dog poop and I went to this house one time. We were doing flipping houses and I went over here and they had a clogged toilet. Okay, so we were going to replace the toilet because I guess it had happened a few times. So we walk in the house, nobody's home, and we go in and they had a big German Shepherd. So we go in, and this is a small apartment. Okay, so this German Shepherd would drop giant bombs, dude. Okay, like dog shit everywhere throughout the apartment, in the living room, up the stairs. You had to step around it. There was dog poop piles up the stairs, in the bathroom, in the bedrooms. Like we couldn't step anywhere. We couldn't put our tools anywhere without. I was like, okay, we're gonna have to do something about this dog poop, bro. But we found out like they were heroin addicts. The guy and girl that lived there, and I felt bad for the dog, bro. I'm like, these dudes keep it in this giant cage in this tiny apartment, and this is a big, beautiful German Shepherd. And I thought, how crappy is that you're treating this dog this way? Like, dude, if you want to lay on the couch and zone out from heroin, whatever. But
yeah, but you're hurting
do
something else,
nice
man.
for your dog, okay?
Yeah.
Jeez.
When I was a kid, my mother and my stepdad, they went over to his brother's place, and they were a mess. And they kept this German Shepherd in the kitchen, which was just pretty much a bathroom inside the house because they were alcoholics.
Gotcha.
So, and I mean, this dog was abused. They hit it. They lit its face on fire. Like it
Holy
was
shit.
Yeah. So we stole the dog, and as soon as they found out, like they're like, whatever, we don't care. So his name was Rebel. He lived an amazing life. He died fat. So he was great. But yeah, I can't stand people that abuse animals, man. That's one thing that will never be forgiven for me. I really can't.
Yeah,
I think
it is a reflection of how you. It's a reflection of that person. I really do. I believe that, because if you can't treat another living being decent, then you must feel really shitty about yourself, But
see, I was having this. I have these weird like thinking experiments sometimes, and I was like, I said, I believe that living things have unique souls, and I'd say like maybe like humans have the most unique soul, but cats and dogs have this way of connecting with humans. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they can tell when you're happy, they're angry, sad.
That's so true.
A fish can't do that. A tree can't do that. A squirrel can't do that. But there's certain aspects of certain living individuals or beings that I feel like deserve like more of a respect legally than they actually have right now, which is it's crazy to think about. It's just one of those pre-work thinking, like deep thoughts you'd have.
Sure. Well, have you seen what's weird, dude, is now that we have, and I know social media can cause, it can be used for bad. I get it, but there's a lot of good out there. And we, one of the things that it's good for is to see, kind of open our eyes to some of these things that we never knew about before. Like what you just said. Like we always think, okay, cats and dogs, these certain mammals, we can connect. We've seen videos like chimpanzees, apes, and all kind of different things. But there's a dude that's been doing it for I don't know how long. He's a scuba diver, and he has a friend that's an octopus. And this octopus goes around, like every time he's in there, it recognizes him. It comes around, it's playful with this dude. It blew my mind because I always thought octopus, how can they have like a soul, like an emotion, like how, what? No, that's weird.
Yeah. I think I was listening to the newest, the Rogan podcast with Oliver Anthony, that dude who dropped the Richmond.
That guy is awesome. And by the way, he read the Bible on Joe Rogan's podcast, bro.
He did. Yeah,
I thought that was awesome.
I love him. He's awesome.
I do too.
But they got in this whole conversation about octopi and how like there's a theory on how like they're from outer space because like there's no correlation with any other being on this planet. Like they squirt ink when they like have to get away from predators. They have poison saliva. They're the only I think they're the only sea-based creature with a beak. If I might be mistaken.
Okay.
But like and they have these weird like learning like qualities. So like say if you have like two octopi, right, inside of and two jars, right? And you leave them in long enough, they're going to learn how to unscrew those jars. However, if you have one octopi or one octopus next to another one and it watches that one unscrew the lid, that one will automatically do it. It learns like quick. Now,
I've heard about
There's
this where they believe that there's like some kind of transfer, like telepathic, almost, or whatever you call it, information.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because they don't use sonar. They don't like communicate the way fish
Right.
do. Like,
Right.
it's a very unique way of like it's a very unique animal is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's arguments saying that like they could have been like the apex animal of the world other than humans, but like, you can't make fire. And fire is like the basis of everything. It's what gets you the most protein out of your meals. It's what allows you to separate elements from whatever. It allows you to smelt things. Like octopi are very intelligent, they're smart, and they can learn things, but they can't make fire, which ultimately you plateau at. You can't do anything in evolution wise. But yeah, it's just interesting that I was listening to a podcast earlier about that.
It's so wild, man.
Yeah.
Well, not to derail that, but so have you seen any information or podcast or anything on flat Earth?
No, it really.
So it kind of goes
hasn't
along
really
with.
like.
Go ahead.
Good. Oh, I haven't really like found a huge interest just because like I always thought it was like a wild conspiracy theory. You know what I mean? Just one of those. Like I'm into conspiracy theories. Don't get me wrong, but like there's just some that might be a little out there for my taste. It's like
bro.
aliens. Like I could get into aliens, but like it's such a so argued conversation.
Yeah.
That whatever I put into it probably won't have any like impact.
It's such a far leap, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like a far, and I was the same way. I've heard of flat Earth. I've heard of, God, I remember, I don't know, back in the 90s, somebody in our church said it, and we all thought, they were nuts. And they also talked about the Earth being way younger. Right. This church I was part of, some of the people there, they were talking about how the Earth is only like 6,000 years old. And we just thought it was like crazy talk. Well, so anyway, over this past week and a half, since I got back from Utah, I've been looking at this. So the flat Earth thing. So I'm going to, in process of elimination with information or whatever, I'm like, okay, even if I don't believe any of this other stuff, there's one thing that really stands out that makes me go, why? So it's the Antarctica thing. Antarctica, there are, no matter which part you go to, you can't go past a certain line. And a lot of people say, oh, it's because it's uninhabitable, it's harsh weather, it's whatever. No. There's laws on no matter from whatever country is on that border. There's strict laws. They will not let you go past a certain line. In fact, there's one where these guys go to like explore Antarctica or whatever. It doesn't matter how many people come on the boat to go over to this part. Only 10% of the people on the boat can get off the boat at any one time. Those people have to come back before anyone else can get off the boat. I was like, wait a minute. So I started looking this stuff up. It's true.
What?
You're not allowed to go. There's rules and laws. I said, what in the... Anyway, so listen, bro. Today's Sunday. This is just this past week that I'm seeing all this stuff. And so it's really new to me. So I'm going, listen, bro. I'm really this close to believing flat Earth thing. I never thought I would say that. But anyway, I feel like there's a lot of things coming out. Like with this octopus, friend with this guy, I guess they've been doing it for like 10 years. This dude has known this octopus for like 10 years.
Yeah.
Which, going back to that thing with the dogs and the cats and the animals, it's like, we really do have this connection with, I feel like, cause I grew up, like my dad's mom is American Indian. Okay. And so I have that blood in me. I grew up that way, thinking about the connection we have with nature and how there is a balance with all this stuff and how the American Indians lived with the balance in their region, right? Like, I feel like there's way more going on with our frequency, our soul, like we're connected with things that we really don't know about. And I feel like a lot of suburban and urban living kind of detaches from that. So you talking about hiking and all that, I think it's really cool, man. I think you're, when you're having these thinking things, I think that's because you're connected with nature and it's making you like bring up some questions like, hey, what about this,
Well, there was a learning lesson I learned on that last four-state hike, and it was so when me and my buddy go out, my buddy Gypsy, he and I both usually run into it's usually people of Asian descent, and they'll go out with their families. They'll be like two, three, four generations of family,
Wow.
and um, they'll show up in like three or four vans in this one parking spot. We've witnessed this a few times, and they'll just go off, like not on a trail, just off in the woods randomly. And they'll have no shoes on, they'll have no backpacks, they'll just be chilling. And all they do, and it's an Asian culture thing. It's called nature bathing. And what it is a way for you to connect with the earth via like just being out there and being present.
And the barefoot thing's probably grounding. It's probably getting their grounding in.
Oh yeah. Right? Oh my god, yeah. Have you ever been out in like in the middle of the woods, take your foot out or take your shoes off, and you see a stream? It is the most relaxing, beautiful thing you can experience. I took a
supposed to be barefoot
out
in the wild.
Oh yeah, I took a few people out on a rain hike about a month ago, and it was all their first rain hike, and we went on the oh my god, what was it? It was a place called the Pinnacle. It's down in Lancaster, beautiful overlook place of the Susquehanna River, and we get into the middle of the woods along this this gully, and there's a stream in here. And I was like, yo, if it's raining, just take your shoes off. We're going in here. To get in there, and these people, they were so like you could just see their faces light up as soon as they hit the water and the rain comes down, and they just don't give a shit about their stuff getting wet and just letting go. It was beautiful. I love seeing it, and I feel like a lot of people don't take the time to do that crazy stuff. Just like even laying out in the rain or just like sitting on a overlook, just kind of sitting and being present. There's a meditation that I try to practice when I'm by myself out in the woods. It helps me being present and mindful and center myself.
Yeah.
I usually close my eyes and I'll picture myself taking deep breaths of like pure white energy and expelling like red and black, like so it's
negative
from like my chest. And it's a way, if you keep repeating that process for a little while, not only does the breathing technique help you, but mentally it puts you in a better, like clearer state of mind. 100%. It's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, the grounding thing, like when our grandkids come over, so Aviana is 4, and Dominic is 2, and yeah, well, he's almost 3. Let's see, when did he? Anyway, I knew I'm gonna mess up their birthdays, but so, or maybe she's 5. God, I don't even know, but we take them out when it rains. It doesn't rain that often here in the summertime in South Carolina, but when it does, I always take them outside. They want to go. Like little kids, if you watch them, now if it's thundering and if it's storming, it's different. They don't want to go out. But if it's actually just regular rain, they're drawn to it. Like little toddlers are naturally drawn to rain. They want to go out in it. And it's not just the puddles. Like they want to stand in the rain. There is something in our being that is drawn to that kind of thing, right? Like it's almost like purifying. Like you're out there, maybe it's a way to, like, we're still connected to the caveman, whatever, older, where we're out in the wilderness, and it's like, hey, this is how we get clean. I don't know, but or we're just attracted to water in general because it's such a big part of our planet and part of our bodies. But yeah, they love it, man. And I always let them go out. My son's really chill. Him and his wife, they're really chill. They'll let the kids do, they let the kids run barefoot and play and all the things that kids should do. Yeah.
What's supposed to do. Right.
Yeah, for real, bro. I see so many little kids. They're like, their parents are like, okay, you can't run barefoot. You got to put shoes. Oh, no, put your shoes on before you go outside. I'm like, why? The dude's like 3 years old. He wants to run barefoot. That's natural. And, like you take a little kid's shoes off, you see their feet, their toes immediately just go like this, and like, like, bro, it's natural.
Foot prisons,
right?
And have them on.
Oh, dude, you know how like our feet are so weak compared, like the bottoms of them, compared to what they used to be.
Yeah, you ever watch that show Naked and Afraid?
Yeah. The
Love that
barefoot.
show.
Yeah.
I signed up for it. I'm not gonna
No
lie.
way.
I'm hoping one day I get into it.
Oh, that'd
But
be cool, man.
they say there's three things that absolutely deter people from completing the whole challenge. One is the lack of sleep, two is the bugs, and three is your feet. If you don't train your feet prior to doing that, like actually walking out like miles and getting calluses on your feet, it's such a
You ain't
sore,
lasting,
and
bro.
like that. A lot of it has to do with like your walking style. Like, so for example, like when you're hiking, most time when you're going up a hill, you just want to get up it, you want to get over it, whatever, done. But doing that exerts a lot of energy. So if you take your time and take baby steps up those steep hills and just make it up going back down, you can go extremely further. So it's a lot of technique too that I've learned and all that.
Yeah, you got to pace yourself. We're in such a mentality, a hurry up mentality all the time, that our daily lives, we don't really like when you're in nature like that, bro, just chill. Like really, it's okay. Unless you're fighting for your life, like you're literally woke up in the middle of nowhere and you have to, get back to somewhere where you can, where you don't die. But
Thankfully, I haven't been in that situation yet.
Well, that's like a lot of these movies and stuff. These guys, as the kids were growing up and stuff, we're seeing military movies or any kind of, where a guy's stranded out here, is running away from something. He's going through all this, the woods and has to climb all this stuff. And he has limited resources. And I'm like, I'm just thinking in my head, it's, you really have to, like your water intake, like you've got to be, you want to get to this end part, you want to find somewhere. So what is your choice? If the terrain's decent where you're not going to hurt yourself, you could all out sprint. Like if you're in shape, you could run for as long as you can. Like you'll make a lot of progress, but how much energy are you exerting without food, without water, especially water? Like, and then how much, when you do find somewhere, how are you going to carry it? Like the more weight you put on expends more energy, which means you need more water because you're going to sweat more. Like it's just this process.
It's kind of like math. It almost is. Like if you can somehow calculate the calories you burn versus the stuff you intake, man, you can be a king and survive anywhere. As long as obviously where to replenish your protein or whatever energy you need.
Yeah.
But like man, the dumb don't survive.
No,
they really don't.
No, you won't. Like, and especially like when muscle cramps set in, bro, you're done. You're done. Like
mustard. Mine's is mustard. I don't know. My grandfather taught me this lesson. I don't know what it is. When I first started hiking, I got off a 12.5-mile hike solo. Came back, I'm relaxing. My legs are just shooting straight forward. And I'm screaming bloody murder. He comes up with a spoonful of mustard. He's like, "Eat this." I was like, "That's gross." He said, "Eat it." I was like, "Okay," and I ate it. I was like, "What the heck?" 10 seconds later, my left muscles are uncramping. I'm like, "Whoa, awesome. This is awesome." So now I always keep mustard in my bag.
There you go.
It's a lifesaver.
Oh, that's great.
Especially in that airsoft field, man. Like you bring new people out, they'll be cramping on like lunch break or something. I'll whip out the mustard and be like, "Yo, I know it's weird and unorthodox, but try it. Do it." They thank me all the time.
Well, they have this, pickle juice does a very similar thing. It's quick as well. So they actually make like a jar or little bottles. Almost look like they're bigger than, they're probably, I don't know, maybe 8 ounces, right? Little tiny bottle called pickle juice, and it's literally pickle juice in these little nice and easy, to carry and pack or whatever, easy to pack bottles, the plastic bottles, and we actually one of the YouTube channels I have that I started years ago before I started this one, CNR Reviews, we did a review on pickle juice, the kind you can buy in a pack. And so I had, so I'm filming and I had my youngest daughter, who was a teenager at the time, and Colton, who's on this YouTube channel, right? When we first started. And I said, so I had them try it. So Caitlin is like, she smells it and she's like, ugh. And then she takes like a tiny little sip and her mouth just is like she ate a lemon, it's just like, ugh. Yeah. Colton downs like half the thing. And he was like, "Oh my God, it is so pickly. And, but I had a problem coming on my illness and stuff. I have all these muscle switches from when my nerves started kind of healing again. And so I have a lot of twitches in my arms and my legs and stuff. And that I didn't used to have. Well, they cause muscle cramps, right? If they twitch too hard, so it'll then your muscle kind of just, so my leg cramps, dude, were so bad. And I would just down some pickle juice. I did eat mustard, I added a bunch of mustard on my eggs one time, and it helps, But yeah, that's a good tip. That's a pro tip. Okay, take some mustard with you. It's way easier than a jar of pickles for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, it depends, I guess, on what you prefer. Do you prefer mustard? Do you prefer pickles? Personally, I probably prefer mustard. Not gonna lie to you. Now it depends. Is that stuff artificial, like pickle flavoring, or is it actual brine?
No, this is actual pickle juice. Yeah, from
Then
the it's natural. It's natural. Yep. Mm-hmm.
See, I work at our state liquor store, and whenever we get new stuff in, I try new stuff.
Yeah.
Once in a while, we get pickle, and it's not my favorite, but as somebody who has to try it, I do.
Okay.
So we had, what was it? This jalapeno pepper pickle shot that was 99 proof, and when I tell you, it tasted like I probably would have ate vomit rather than drank this thing again. It was that bad, and I'm not I hate artificial pickle flavoring. It's the same thing with bananas. I love regular bananas.
Yeah.
Anything banana flavored is disgusting. I can't stand it. But
gotcha.
I'm
kind of similar. I don't really like the artificial flavoring of most things.
Now we do have pickled moonshine pickles, which are actual pickles, just fast in moonshine.
Really?
So that's not bad because you're getting hammered at the same time. But I mean, tit for tat. Disgusting flavor for getting hammered. That's, I guess, the trope.
Dude, I can literally open up a jar of pickles and drink it, and I'm like, yeah, this is good.
Oh God, there's make special for people like you called nut houses.
They do these taste tests. The local liquor store, firehouse, they do every couple weekends or something. They'll have somebody will have a table set up in there, one of the reps from one of the local places around here that does moonshine or something else. Mm-hmm. So Friday we got some for Labor Day for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because we're going to a cookout and stuff. And we always like to bring something with us. So we got, so when I went in, it was Tito's. The Tito's, was it vodka?
Yep.
And so.
That's your favorite.
Oh, yeah. So I got a bottle of that. I've had Tito's before, but I've never actually bought a bottle of it. So
that's how I was for Jack all the way up until I was 22.
Okay. Hell yeah, man.
Oh man, there's something, if you want to mix up your Tito's flavors, you can order these flavor packets that you would add to water. Add it to that, man. Oh my God, you can just get a whole different lineup of different Tito's flavors. You get raspberry, blueberry, lemonade, strawberry. Oh my God. And it just it mixes it up. So I deal with a lot of daily customers. They come in every day.
Yeah.
So I started looking up different different drinks that they could make with their drinks. And one of those was simple, quick, easy. You spend $1 and it's a whole other drink. It's a mixed drink.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah. So if you ever wanted to mix it up, keep one of those in your drinking cabinet or something.
That's good to know. Yeah, you'll have to send me the whatever kind of brand or something it is.
You could just
what is it like? Kool-Aid. Is it a powder?
Yeah, just do Kool-Aid packets.
Oh, cool. Oh, just a regular Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, and just add as much as you want.
Because it's Kool-Aid.
Yep, and then you add some seltzer to it, and oh my God, it's a party favorite, man. It's cheap and it's good.
Oh yeah, right. So my cousin, he got this. He's in Florida. Him and his girlfriend came up in May, right around Memorial Day. So he spent the weekend with us, and then him and his girlfriend got these mixers. And they were kind of they were syrup, some kind of syrups, and there's for vodka. Yeah, and they had, I don't know, blueberry. They had a couple other ones, and so she knew how to mix this stuff. She used to be a bartender, and she's like, "Let me make this drink." I was like, "I don't really like flavory, fruity, whatever. So she made this thing, and she's like, just let me do it. It's very strong, and which I think that's the only reason I liked it, because it kind of offset it wasn't too sweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really good. And she put it in there, and it's beautiful to look at, because it was a really dark blue. It was like a blue Hawaiian, but it was, it was cool. So they turned us onto that. But yeah, the Kool-Aid is so those syrups are expensive.
Yeah, that's why I found the Kool-Aid method. It tastes a little different, but honestly, if you're just doing it for a party, who cares?
You're
free
only
drink.
going to taste like the first half of the glass anyway, because your taste buds go numb when you're starting to from the alcohol.
Yep. Unless tequila's a different story. I'll say that I've had bad experiences with Jose and Hornitos, man. But I switched over to 1800, and I'm trying out this new one we got. So our store started getting some like crazy, not crazy expensive, but higher end tequilas. And there's this stuff called Comos. It's a rosé Reposado. It's a pink aged tequila. And for my birthday in November, I'm gonna pick it up. It's about $100, but I get bragging rights. No one else I know will ever have a pink Reposado. So
I've never heard of it. Yeah.
For it.
Okay. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, it's cool to try out these different, these different kind of, like one of the guys I talked to, oh God, it was a while ago, a couple years ago. I've had him on a couple times actually. He's the guy in Ireland, and
I think I have watched
Cue Ball. Cue Ball is his sign on his nickname and his Instagram. So
yeah,
I've had him on a couple times, and he said one of the times we were talking about this, same thing, and he said, "Oh, you got to try Red Breast," and I can't remember who is that? Is it Southern? It's not Southern Comfort, right? It's a name brand, and it's like they're one of their top tier. So I went and bought one. And he goes, "You can get."
So good.
It is so good, dude. And
yes, my favorite scotch.
I'm always used to drinking cheap, so I never bought like a bottle that's like more than $50, So I bought this thing, and I think it was a 12-year, or maybe it was younger than that, but it might have been the 12-year, and it was like $110. Okay, I'm like, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna try it out, see if it's worth it. It was so good. It was so smooth, bro. It was so smooth.
Don't go back, man. It's so hard to.
It's too expensive, man. I can't. Well, at the time, I was drinking more. I was drinking more often than I do now. I could probably do it now, and the bottle would actually last, a couple months. But back then, no, like 3 days, done. Okay.
See, like I recently completed my wine and spirits classes for the state, so. Okay. It's been a little while.
What does that do? Like a permit or something, or a certificate? What do you get?
It's a certificate.
Okay.
For the state, so like ordinarily it'd be like a couple $100 to take the class, but they pay for it. It's through them, so it's PLCB certified. I hate the state, but I mean they have some benefits, so I milk it as much as I possibly can.
Right.
So, what was it? Well, for the Scotch section of it, man, we got Tullamore. Well, no, it's not Tullamore Dew. It was Redbreast, Glenlivet. We got like Johnny Walker Gold Label. Oh my God, we got all the good stuff. And I'm telling you, like when I tried some like backwash freaking Scotch, like Dewar's, man, I couldn't. I felt ashamed. I was like, why'd I spend the money on this? It's not fun anymore. But I mean, like, it is what it is. At least, like, I don't do it often. I have like a whole shelf up here of like minis. So anytime we get like a mini, I'll buy 2 of them, one to try, one to throw up. And I'm still waiting to go out of state and find like a whole wall full of minis so I can spend like $150 just buying them. And then I'll just sit there and try them one night, get a little too schwilly, it'll be all right. Things happen.
Hell yeah, man. Well, so you mentioned and I've seen your Instagram, and you mentioned earlier your kilt, right? When you're hiking and stuff. So how did the kilt come about? You have that in your family history or something?
No, man. I have no idea anything about my heritage. Sucks, but I mean, I'm a redhead, so redheads and kilts kind of match, I guess. When I started hiking, man, like, don't get me wrong, like, pants are cool, But like going out there wearing shorts, man, you got bugs biting you. And I'm a ginger, bro. Like I go out into the sun and I burn instantly. I fry. I'm a vampire. Like I'm the closest to albino without legally being defined as one. So like as much protection as I possibly could get with being like free flowing, whatever. So when I go out, I still wear shorts. I just tuck them up as much as I possibly can, and that also helps me from chafing. So there's a lot of benefits. My newest kilt, it's a traditional kilt is 24 inches, whereas my newest one is 32. I extended it a little bit because I use mine also for when I do my long hikes. I use mine for laying down, so I'm not in the dirt. And that's actually traditionally what they used to be used for was bedding on them. Yeah.
Oh, so that makes sense.
Yeah, mine also has molly loops on the side of it too. So I have molly pouches on the side. Yeah. And that alone helps me out. So I have a map pack on the side, and that keeps my wallet, my phone, all my important stuff. So it's all in one set. And it's a little elastical too. So if it grabs onto something, it isn't going to tear. It'll give me some warning. So it's got some functionality to it. I only paid like $100 for it. They were doing a sale, and it's American made, beautiful quality, man. Like, and I even told them, I was like, make it with love, and they put Love the Company, and I was like, yes.
Oh my god,
these cool. Guys are awesome. Yeah, I wish I can remember the name. I
was gonna say, what's the company?
I think it's American Highlander. I think so. I'd have to look back onto it, but they got it done within like 6 weeks, and I mean, like, it's not like, as I said, they custom make it, like all your measurements, your sizes are perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been rocking my other one. I have a green one that I still use for airsoft, and I busted one of my buckles on it, and I let my girl use it whenever we go out together, because it's perfect, like, height differential. Yeah. So it still gets uses out of it. What I want to do one day is when I retire them after they're beaten, worn, and weathered, I want to cut like a little square out of each one of them, and then I'm going to make a wall of memories out of my kilts.
Right.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to like write like important areas where I was with this kilt.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, like, if I have kids, man, I'll pass it down to them. It'd be like a fun little.
That's something you can, pass on to generations, man. It's something tangible. It's not paper that's going to be, washed away and deteriorate quickly or whatever. That's cool.
I also always thought if I ever did the complete AT and I didn't ever have offspring, I would always like donate it to there's this place, I think it's in Maine or Georgia. I forget what end of the AT it's on. But there's a section where everybody throws up like their gear on the ground, their boots in a certain tree, and that's just where people give up. They wait to go home.
Okay.
And if I ever did that, I take my kilt, I wrap it around the tree, and I put 2 nails in the side of it, and it would just sit there, and it would grow with the tree. That'd be so fucking cool. I'd love that. And even if I did, it's a kilted tree. Yeah.
Dude, that's an amazing name for a new liquor.
Kilted tree.
Kilted tree, yeah.
That would be fun. That'd be like a mead.
Yeah, like a mead.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I always thought about getting.
You say, it tastes. It's got the. You know how those people that do like wine tastings, they have all these like fine words that they describe, like it's oaky and earthy and whatever. All this shit.
4 weeks of that, man. I know.
Kilted tree. That's your new drink, okay?
If I ever make a wine, if I ever get the funds for my wine business or my vineyard or my liquor's license, I'll make sure the first label is kilted tree.
There we go.
For sure. That'd be fun.
We've said it. It's out in ether now, buddy. We're gonna make it happen.
Now I just gotta be diligent on it.
Oh shit. Hey, that's the best way to get goals done is, set a timeline or, get something like post it somewhere where where somebody else is going to hold you accountable. Bro, It sucks, but that's the way to really get something done. Cause most of the time, just us by ourselves, it's very difficult to self-motivate to, accomplish something that's, that's going to take a while. Like if you, take out the trash, like, do a podcast and record it and post it. That's like no big deal, right? But something that takes months or years to do, bro. It's like we look at this the whole thing instead of the little steps it takes to get there.
Yeah, and that's where like having somebody hold you accountable is great too, because you get those little affirmations for those little like progress
Yeah,
goals. But for like long term projects, man, like I feel like motivation is great and all, but I feel like discipline is like
that's it.
is forever harnessing. You know what I mean? Like motivation,
100%.
it comes and goes. It's very
Yeah,
fleeting.
right.
Like I can I
It's
can
like
wake up
almost like
one
a
morning.
feeling, like,
I can wake up one morning and be like, I want to go to the gym. I want to learn an instrument. I want to go for a run. I want to go for a hike, whatever. But then like actually like starting it, that's where it sucks because
10
like
minutes
once you
in,
get that
bro.
first step, you'll continue going.
Right.
Yeah. But like if you don't do that first initial like hit, man, it's dead in the water, man. It
Yeah.
doesn't. Yeah. There's some people though, like, and I understand that would prefer the term motivation over discipline. I've just always found it I've always found it more of a hardening term to use. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like words have meaning for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like some are harder impacting than others, and that's because some people shouldn't beat around the bush. Some people should
Yep.
just go right through it,
Just say
do
the
your
word that's
goals.
meant
I
to be
mean,
said for
as
it.
much as you don't want to do something, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like that's a trait a lot of people don't have anymore. And I'm not saying I'm the most perfect advocate for it for sure, but I
Yeah.
definitely see the potential in it for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so you love hiking. My wife and I, we being in Utah, being out there in Moab, really kind of gave us a new perspective for hiking. Our kids are grown; they're all out of the house. My youngest one's 22, oldest one's 29. So and most of them live around here, but we're not really tied down like we used to be when our kids were little. So my wife loves hiking. Honestly, dude, listen, we've been together 30 years. Okay, actually, like 33 years we've been together. Actually,
Awful
known each
tough.
other. We've been married 31 years. So just back in August was our 31st anniversary. It sounds weird to even say it because I don't feel that like it's been that long, but uh, I've known her for a long time, and I didn't know that she loved hiking this much because we were both so busy with the kids that you focus on work and family and
Yeah,
like taking care of these mini humans until they get smart enough to get the hell out of the house. So we and kind of start their own journey of life, right? And so now we're like, she goes, I love hiking more than anything. I said, what? You, what? I didn't, you, I mean, we took the kids to the beach. Like, you're like, oh, I want to take the kids on vacation. Like, you never mentioned hiking ever. Like, we took the kids on hikes, but she wasn't the one to be like, I want to go to this place. I want to go hiking. And
yeah,
like I want to take my boys out, especially because bring your knife. Like I bought my kids knives, like hunting knives when they were young. Had them all engraved. We have so I have 3 boys, 2 girls. All 3 of my boys and myself, we all have. Well, I use the knife from the military. Here, I'll show you this one. So this one I got. Obviously I was issued when I was in the Marine Corps, but so it's a K-bar. Okay.
yeah.
I mean,
It's
it's a little
classic.
grizzled. It's a little weathered. Okay. I got this in
Beautiful.
1991. All right. Excuse me. So, um, this had it engraved with, let's see.
Japanese symbols.
Yeah. So that kanji right there is, come on, focus, dude. Well, anyway,
Yeah,
you
I
can
can
see a
see
little
it.
bit. It says comrades in Japanese. So
Nice.
I bought each one of my sons a hunting knife, like a fixed blade, and had them. And I got it for Christmas. This is like years ago, and we took it up after Christmas to get it engraved. So we all got the same engraving. So now all of our knives match. But anyway, we wanted to go hiking. I wanted to teach my kids, basic stuff in the woods, and they bring their knives, and they get a stick and you can carve it, or whatever. So they were all into it. But
Yeah.
so my wife goes, we were in Utah. And she's like, "Oh no, this is what I want to do. Like this is my new like I love this. I've loved hiking all my life." I was like, it was so weird, man. But anyway,
See, I would
and I
love
love
that,
hiking
man,
as well.
because like, I love like the fact that I'm learning something about my partner after that long. Hell yeah, I've been like, what? There's still more. There's more awesome things about you. Bring it. Let's go.
Oh shit.
I
Yeah,
love
right.
this.
Now, how long you guys been together?
6, 7 months, give or take.
Yeah, good.
It's still pretty fresh, but
Yeah.
it's definitely one of my closer friends. I'll admit she's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, hiking is such a cool bonding thing anyway.
Oh my god, dude. I do it with my grandfather too. My grandfather hikes better than people my fucking age. He's 56. Sorry, no, 62? 62, yeah, something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But man, like, we went up on this fire trail once. We just went on a random hike on a random trail, and a fire, like, you ever see one of those fire breaks going straight up like mountain just to make sure like the woods don't, yeah. He's like, I wonder what's up there. And I was like, man, I don't know. If you want to go check it out, we can. Immediately, without a thought, just starts trucking it up the mountain. I was like, man, I don't even know 24 or 5-year-olds that would do this. Like, you are awesome. Like, this is badass.
Oh, that's cool.
But like, man, you can take anyone out there, and even if they're miserable, at the end of it, they'll appreciate it. Oh my god, for sure.
Yeah, most of the time. We've had some friends that they go out there and they're like, bugs, heat, what? No, like they don't like it. Like they want to go back in the car, in the hotel, in a whatever. I'm like,
civilization, man. Need my AC and McDonald's, man.
Oh shit, that's crazy. Yeah, man. So, well, so as far as airsoft, you're in Pennsylvania. Do you know? I'm not sure what part you're in. If you're close to Napa Airsoft,
I'm on Eastern, so like Hershey-esque area.
I think that's where Don is. So,
yeah,
Don. Do you know Don from Napa Airsoft? Is that how I found you? Through him? I can't remember.
That's a possibility. I know I follow him though.
Okay.
And I probably have been to an event. If we went to another Will Milsom, then yeah, more than likely we probably did.
Okay. Shout out Don from Napa Airsoft, man. He's been around forever with Airsoft.
Yeah, and I've been meeting some crazy vets playing Airsoft. Like,
yeah,
I would say like people have been doing this for like 10, 12 years. Like, it kind of like sucks that I took a break from it, man. I would have been so much better. I would have had so much gear if I would have just been like keeping at her. But 2 years into it, man, I've met some I've made some good networking with some amazing people. Even like the teams around here, like I go up to them like what was it? We have a team out here called Havoc, sponsored by Jackalope Tactical here in our town, Lebanon, Pennsylvania.
I know those guys.
Yeah, Paul's a fucking amazing dude. Love him. But like when we go out to their events and we're camping out, man, their crew comes over to our campsite. Whenever they get bored, they go over to ours. We'll kind of exchange people. We'll kind of mingle in between one another. There's another team out here, One Legion, do the same thing. Yep. Wolfpack up in New York, man. Like, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, Wolfpack's like they have a whole team up there. They're really good guys. I think Buffalo, New York is their hometown, something like that. But the sport's only growing out here. Like, I've only been playing for about 3 years, but like seeing the vast amount of new players that are coming on the field every time, just the new innovation that are coming out, like X-Fog making their new magnetic like goggle things. Love that. I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah. They just dropped them the other day. That was right after. That was right before that whole. Like, they have like this whole thing with Novrik. Like, one of their Novrik sponsors. They're kind of like in a feud right now because one of their sponsors made a video of one of their old models, saying like, our Novrik anti-fog system is better than theirs, and they used like a completely shitty model. And the guy came out, the owner. He was like, no, this isn't right. He's like, I'll show you. Showed the blowing test. He showed that all the parts were updated. Like, yo, this is a bad marketing technique, and these people bring a bad name to us. But like, that doesn't happen like on my neck of the woods. There's not like too much drama around here, which is it's pretty good. I love our East Coast community. It's beautiful. I know, like in the social media aspect, the West Coast is where it dominates, but I feel like we're making some leadway out here, and especially like we're getting like Amped Airsoft. They just opened up their field. We have like new companies opening up all over. We have new fields that are opening up all the time. Our team just started going down to New Jersey and experiencing their new fields. There's a place down there called Picasso Lake. Shout out. Amazing people, amazing fields. The only issue I ever had with any New Jersey kind of field is just the sand. Being from Pennsylvania, going anywhere with sand, it's a pain in the ass to deal with. Getting it out of the car, the gear, socks, all that.
There's a lot of sand in New Jersey.
Yeah, like you wouldn't think so, but like inland more, like maybe an hour or two away from the beach, yeah, there's sand everywhere. You wouldn't think of
wild.
It, right?
I wouldn't associate sand with New Jersey. Yeah, I didn't even know. Okay.
It's down in southern Jersey, yeah. But I think soon enough we're going to be. I think we're going to be a spotlight here soon. So, for example, Paul from Jackalope Tactical, he's looking for a place to host tournaments, like indoor tournaments, because right here the closest indoor place is maybe 3.5 hours, maybe a little less.
Okay.
But it's extremely far. So if we get that out here, man, it's going to inspire so many people to be out here. It's going to inspire more people to come out, and especially having a new vendor for like an indoor CQB kind of area.
Yeah.
It would just yeah.
That was going to be my next question. Was do you ever play indoor, like speed QB or CQB or whatever,
See, I play CQB fields. They're not indoors though. My team we're looking for tournaments to go to. I know Amped, their field, theirs is indoors. However, that's Pittsburgh and it's about a 4-hour trip, maybe a little longer.
Okay.
And since we're all starting just to be a team, we're still trying to figure out ways to cushion finances in order to do longer trips. Yeah. So we actually did our first team meeting the other night, and we were thinking about like fundraising techniques, so ways we can unify like our team to make like have uniform, jersey, whatever, and then ways we can like inspire other people to like want to come and see us, sponsor our team, to want to see us do good and see our content do really good things.
Right.
Right now I'm working on the team getting all cameras. I think 4 out of 10 of us have cameras now. So when we go onto our events, we're going to mesh all this video together to make it all different POV from one battle scenario. Mm-hmm. We're also getting a drone implemented onto it, and we're getting like different roles worked out and whatever. But right now we already have our Speed QB like 3v3, 5v5 team already worked out. This is our preseason, so next year is going to be our official first season. Gotcha. So that'll be like we'll be doing small practices. We'll be practicing for comms. We'll be doing all these different sort of just small drills. And most of the thing for this team is I wanted to be relax, make sure that people wanted to come in here and have a good time, not feel like they're forced to spend a bunch of money going to events, not spending a bunch of money on uniforms or guns. My rule is, man, if you're 18 years old, you live an hour away from the city, and you come to one game every 3 months, is like you're more than welcome to come with.
Gotcha.
But like, I wanted to make something different because most teams around here they're more of a serious aspect. In retrospect, they are sponsored by fields and shops, and I understand that. I'm not, nor do I really plan to be.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to build my own brand with this. We've already discussed trying to like make some product to push out, just to kind of like start bringing more people into the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we want to build a community, and I want to evolve my Lebanon Airsoft Society into the Pennsylvania Airsoft Society, if indoor when it grows. That's at least the long-term goal. Short-term is to have fun, go out to fields, and make some friends.
For sure.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome, man. Hey, you should make, speaking of, you can make different products or whatever to put out. You should make a mini kilt for your gun. Right? It'd be a gun accessory, okay?
Yeah.
You could put like each person's call sign on it or something, printed on there.
Something. Do like the barrel sleeves.
Yeah, the barrel
sleeves. And then that'd be a fun idea. I like that.
You should stick with the kilt kind of theme or whatever, because yeah, dude, that'd be cool.
I like that. I don't know how many of the guys I can convince to wear kilts though, but I mean, like, I'll definitely sponsor it any day. I'll sport that all day. I'm
Can you
cool at the end
imagine
of the day. I'm
having
not sweating.
a whole team of a whole airsoft team of kilted players?
Beats
Like,
off kilt men with die fives. Yeah, baby. That would be fun.
they're one of the guys I had on last year, quite a few months ago. He wears a kilt when he plays. And so when I was going through his Instagram, I was like, "Do you wear a kilt when you play?" He's like, "Yeah." So it was, so it's come up before, and
yeah. I've seen them on fields. When I did my first milsim, it was Downfall 8.
Okay.
Over in EMR, which is about 2 hours north of me. I think it's I forget the town, city, township, whatever it's in, but beautiful people. Love the field, love the energy.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting there watching an LMG guy down plane, just laying it into a tree line of people that had no idea he was there. And I was like, that's gonna be me one day. And a year later, I ended up with my first kilt. I found it was $60, and honestly, I did it as a gag at first. Like, I was just like, this is gonna be funny, it's gonna get some uniqueness to my character, whatever. And then I was like, this is actually practical to use. This is actually great to use. I need it. And like, I always actually have one in my car at all times, just in case, like, I'm after work and I'm like, I need to go out, I need to go get some exercise or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll drop trowel, throw those on, and start going wherever I need to.
Oh, that's cool. Well, the good thing about them is when you're, running it, like, they're very flexible, obviously. So there's nothing restricting you when you're squatting down or bending down, or, you have to kneel down behind a tree or something. Like, you have freedom.
Oh, yeah.
Because most of the tactical pants and, they're starting to get better with the stretchy stuff in the crotch and all that, but they still, when you're sweating on your legs, the pant sticks to your thigh and you go to bend down or squat down. And if you don't have your belt really, tight enough, it just wants to pull your pant. Like, you have to hold it or pull your pant leg up before you squat down.
Especially if you're carrying like a holster, like a pistol or something, and that's just adding so much weight. And I feel you on that one.
Yeah, so I can imagine the kilt is like, you don't even have to think about it.
The only thing I ever recommend people, if you ever decide to run a kilt in airsoft, knee pads. 1,000%, they will save your life. I have been in so many scenarios where I would have gotten splinters into my knees. I would have gotten small rocks. Sand's annoying to deal with, but I mean, like, I thank God every day for every time I throw those on. I'm like, man, whoever made these was a genius, and I wish I can give them a hug. Like, thank you.
I did this this little short video, whatever, when I was flipping houses last summer, and I did this short little video for the CNR channel, the review channel I do, and all I did, I didn't have my knee pads up in the top of the apartment where I was working. And the floor's concrete, okay? It was these old buildings that were made in like the 1940s. They were made for service members coming out of World War II and stuff. So all the walls are concrete, all the ceiling, the floors, everything. So, and we're ripping everything out, redoing the whole thing. So there's no cushion. I'm crawling around on my hands and knees on this concrete. And I said, damn, I was exhausted. I didn't want to go downstairs and get my knee pads. So, but what I had was all of my drywall tools up there. So I have the sanding blocks, the sanding, the rectangle little, for sanding drywall. Well, they're cushiony, like they're foam. So I put one down in front of each knee and kneeled on those. And I was like, something like on the video, I was like, oh, this is what, knee pads for when you don't have knee pads, But yeah, dude, it's crawling around your hands and knees or kneeling in a tactical situation in the bush or in I mean, it's always going to happen if you don't have your knee pads and you're in the moment and your adrenaline's going and you rush behind a tree and you go to kneel down. You're going to find the one root or the one rock that's going to poke you in the kneecap and make you hate your life. Okay.
Oh my God, dude, that's I had that.
People don't know pain until you get something sharp and hard poke you in the center of the kneecap.
Yeah, that'll put you out. That was one of my experiences at Poco, man. Like, I was sitting there, I was trying to like lay down fire for somebody, and I went to go kneel down to kind of cover myself in a little bit, and there was one little sharp rock. I don't know where it came from. I double checked, and it wasn't a rock, it was a thorn. It was a thorn. And I remember kneeling down right onto it. And I remember cussing as loud as I can, punching the rock. I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "I'm out. I don't care." Fucking back. I went back to the staging area, and I threw my helmet. I was like, "That hurt so bad." I thought it was a bee at first, and then I pulled it out, and it was just a thorn. I was pissed.
Boy, those are rough, man. Yeah.
But I mean, that's why like earthy fields, man. They have a bunch of unexpected consequences to them. But I like well-trimmed fields, but they don't have that feeling, that wildness, I guess.
There's no challenge. Yeah, there's no challenge.
Yeah. It's usually like, if you can memorize this layout, you'll dominate no matter what, because there's no new obstacles. However, if you're out in the woods, there might be a new rock that got kicked over, there's a log, there's a tree that fell over.
Yep.
Stuff like that. One of the most common places our team goes to is a place called Ambush down in Conestoga, PA. It's just south of Lancaster. We usually get a turnout on average 150, maybe 300 players. Like it's a huge turnout.
Wow.
And the only gripe I ever had with their field is, through the field there's a small train track that leads through. Now during the fall, you have all the leaves around. Last year, somebody, I think, I sprained or broke their ankle because like they tripped over this thing that was covered by leaves. But like, other than that, man, it has a perfect like diversity of trimmed and natural. Like it's a different setting, you know.
Yeah.
Like you go to a lot of fields and they either have one or the other, but this has both meshed into one. It's hard to explain. Like,
that's cool.
But
you cannot run full speed with gear on, even if you have really good boots on. Like even high top boots with, like the old combat boots that I had in the military, they hold your ankle pretty good, but you can't run full speed in an unknown woods, or even if you know the woods. Like you play there a bunch, like you said, things change. You can have a big storm, you have a big rain, something washes through there, like exposes a lot of rocks or roots, and those are the two things that will mess up your ankles. Like instantly, bro. Rocks and roots in the woods. Ones you don't see.
Trenches. If you've ever played in a field with trenches on it, and especially if you had rain, you're trying to run, not get shot. You're getting over the trench. Boom, there's some sediment, trips you down. You just fell face first into some mud, and you're like, I'm out.
Oh, shit. That's funny. Hell yeah, man.
I've done it maybe once or twice. I'll admit it. I wish I got it on video, but no.
Now, have you seen the videos like the speedball? I mean the speedball. I was an old paintball player, but the speed soft stuff. Have you wanted to try that?
I'm really into it. I follow a guy out in Cali. His name's Poet. Really fucking good dude. He does some speed softing content. Yeah.
He actually just sponsored. Yeah, dude. He's awesome, man. Hell yeah.
He just sponsored one of our guys out here. So like his influence is getting out here. I really want to see that 3v3 5v5 tournament come out. I want to be a part of it.
The dude plays in pink Crocs, bro. I have a fairly high chance of winning.
Huh?
He plays in pink Crocs.
I know. That's why I like him. He's good people, man. Like I message him like every once in a while to kind of just like encourage him, like, yo, keep it up. Like I hope you're having a good time. Whatever. Like he just had his like little poet cup. Like I really wanted to be a part of that, but obviously 3,000 miles is a bit of a distance.
It's a little hard to fly back and forth. Yep.
Yeah. So like I would love to bring that kind of community energy out here. Yeah. Like that's what I would love to do. I don't know like what it is about the West, man, but like their community building
is a lot longer. They've been doing a lot longer. I mean, paintball was huge out there years ago, before it was even, as popular. Like I don't know if paintball actually started out there. I don't remember the history of it, but they had a huge following in paintball out there, which transferred over when airsoft started to become popular. That was like a lot of paintballers that were, kind of amateur or, not on pro teams or whatever. They went right into airsoft, and that gets huge out there. There's so many diverse fields out there too. And And then of course Speedball or Speedsoft is such a big thing out there. They have a lot of tournament teams out there that, kind of made it more popular, I think.
Yeah, and that's what I feel like. I feel like we can bring that out here, 100%.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people that I go and talk to, the amount of people that I like, just ask general questions like, what would you prefer to see in like a tournament? What would you like to see going on around here? Most of them say like, hey, I want to see more competition built, team building kind of scenarios. Like I want to see smaller venues. Like don't get me wrong, like walk-ons are great, but people want to mix up. And that's why, like, for instance, like we were going to have this warehouse literally 2 minutes down from my house.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a both indoor and outdoor field that would have been amazing. But our city neglected to approve it. So, like, the companies actually had money funding into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, over time, that money starts becoming more and more worthless, especially in a company aspect. So they pulled out of it. As soon as they pulled out of it, the city was like, hey, we approve you. So now he's kind of stranded in the water trying to get back these businesses. And I mean, like, I'm very confident that this guy is going to do it. He's very passionate about his projects. For example, we just did a promo video for this. It's a LARP/airsoft kind of game. It's a Halloween-based game. It's called Wishwell. So, like, you have 5 different factions. You have like zombies, you have mercenaries, you have the militia, and you have veterans, whatever. And you go out in this field, out in the ambush, actually, is where it's going to be. And you go and do different missions for different NPCs and get different tokens. It's a blast, man. People come out there with amazing gifts or with amazing costumes. The energy is amazing. The little promo video that they did last year was just little like scenes of them out on the field. This year we did like a more of a cinematic short movie kind of deal, and I helped out being one of the extras for a zombie. And that I took about like 12, 13 hours of filming. It was tiring at the end, but man, everyone had a good time.
Is it on your Instagram?
For the
video?
Promo?
The promo video?
No, it's still being worked on. It's going to be released here soon, like really soon.
Okay.
But I can...
It's going to be around... So the event's going to be around Halloween, you said? Like at that time?
Yeah, it's October 21st, if I'm not mistaken. And these tickets sell out quick. We have people from like North Carolina, Jersey, New York, everywhere. They're coming to flood this. There's people in Japan that actually like looked at this event and they were making really positive comments on it. Like people that are heavy in the LARPing over there.
Right.
So like, he says that he wants this to be his core thing. So if anybody's ever in the area, worth checking out. Even if not, check out the videos that come out because they're going to be fun. Content creators going to have a blast with it. This year, there's something special that's going to be on the field. I can't get into it because I was told in confidence, but it's gonna make everyone move, and it's gonna make it more action packed than last year. And this year was packed full of it.
Oh, dude, that's cool. Yeah, they're always trying to figure out in these events how to get rid of the stalemates, right? Because and I think I've heard of a lot of different places, and I've seen different events where they incorporate certain like changing point systems, or you're going to get more points if you go over and take over this objective, because they'll put like a high value target, right? Like a HVT or something. They do it kind of changes it up. Or, hey, you've got to go over here and get, there's a hidden thing that you can fight for. They learn about it before the event starts, but it might be like a certain, quote unquote key for this box, right? And it might be a Pelican box somewhere. And you have to have this thing to unlock it. So, both teams are so there's little side missions that, so it breaks it up so people aren't just, bottlenecked into the main area, and then now it's just force on force. Like that gets old, right? Like you got to have these other storylines or whatever missions to help people, to keep it more action packed.
Yeah. So for the Otherworld production, for the Otherworld Milsim games that they do, they kind of do that. So they have, so in the lore, they have a elite team called the oh my god, hold on, I forget what it's called. It's a band of mercenaries, well, for instance, that'll hold, say, at EMR, there's a big castle, and usually during an event, that's the key place to be because it's so hard to take over once it's taken over. So there'll be a faction of about 10, 15 guys inside this castle fighting off both hordes. First team to actually loop around and get like entrenched in there has a higher chance. So like little stuff like that, and they'll have like bomb locations. So like only one squad out of the entire team can only go and escort this bomb. So your squad has to work with theirs. It's really
That's cool.
It's more than just Zerg v Zerg, which I'm going to one actually coming up soon. It's going to be like 200 people. It's just a local thing for this place called Outdoor Extreme Lingelstown, OXL. It's one of my favorite like smaller vendors to go to.
Yeah.
But they're hosting this thing called the Fall Insurgency, and that's where I'm bringing most of my team out to try to be in our preseason force. But it's just going to be a good time. It's just so our newer guys can go out there and just shoot BBs and not have to worry about an objective, not have to worry about walking 15 minutes back to a respawn and getting lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like this is going to be like one of those games where I'm just going to go out, I'm going to sling BBs, and I don't really care if I win or lose. Like, this is just going to be a hell of a good time.
That's cool, man. Hell yeah. Dude, I've talked to so many people that these different LARPing events I've heard of. Like 6mm Mandalorian is his call sign and his Instagram, his YouTube and stuff. And he does, they put on Star Wars events. And bro,
I want to go to one so bad. I want to go.
You gotta listen to that podcast, dude. He is. I can't remember. God, I'm horrible because I've talked to so many people. Number one, my memory's bad. Okay, I really work on it. I try to, but I don't know if I fell on my head a few times, and I know that sounds funny, but I really did. Okay, like I fell off a 15-foot truck. Okay, on my face in the military, and anyway, so. And I've done too many drugs and alcohol from then until now. So I can't remember, but this dude is really cool. I'm looking up his Instagram right now, but he 6mm Mandalorian, and here he is. Okay. Let me see where he's at. He is in it doesn't say. Okay. Upcoming Star Wars event. Here's the Facebook thing for it. Let me see. Galactic War Battlefront. Yeah, this is him. Dude.
Please tell me it's tracer required. Like, that's all I care about. I just want to see one thing. I want to see one old school Star Wars fight where it's in a hallway and it's just 10v10 and there's just tracers going through. Oh my god. I'd be in
okay,
Wonderland.
Good for him. Good for 6mm. Okay, shout out 6mm. Shout out Skirmish. Shout out Hefe's Airsoft and all these other dudes that are on here for this. This event is November 4th and 5th of this year. It's in Bolivar, Missouri. Is Missouri MO or is it M?
I think Missouri's MO. No, yeah, it's MO.
What's Montana?
MI is Michigan. MA.
Montana's MA. Okay. No, MA's May. There's too many M states. Okay, that's what it is. So
It's
anyway,
Michigan,
I think he's in Missouri. I think he's in Missouri. Bolivar, Missouri, is this Battlestar or Battlefront Galactic Civil War thing. But I'll let me bring up the let me share the screen real quick so people can see this real quick because it's.
What's his sign again? It's 6mm what?
6mm Mandalorian. You can find him on Instagram, and then he has a link on his Instagram in his bio for this Facebook page right here.
I'm on Instagram. New thing.
Oh, so it's 6mm and then underscore Mandalorian, yeah. You can see it right here, actually.
This T-Mobile internet absolutely blows. We just recently switched over, man. This is atrocious.
What do you want?
The T-Mobile.
Oh,
stupid.
Gotcha.
Hotspot box. It is what it is. It's cheap though, so
It's
can't
fine.
complain. Yeah. Galactic Civil War Battlefront Boulevard.
Yeah, so he does. So you got to go to his YouTube channel, bro, and check out some of his videos from the event. Also, we go through a lot of his stuff on the podcast when I had him on. So you can look up that. You can search the podcast and see the.
I'll probably listen to it on my hike tomorrow.
He's very interesting to talk to. He has these guys cosplay, Star Wars, and they do a lot of really cool, interesting things in their events. So, yeah, we went through his recent, well, not recent, when it was recent when him and I talked, the event he had done, and showed pictures. We went through a lot of pictures in there, so you can see a lot of that too. Did you find it? It finally loaded.
Yeah,
there you go.
Found his YouTube.
Yeah, man. There you go.
And Battlefront Boulevard. Oh.
So, are you a Star Wars fan then?
I'm more of a Star Trek fan. Can't lie.
You're a Trekkie. Hell
but,
yeah.
But I respect the lore. I can't lie.
Well, listen, bro. The next live stream I do on YouTube is going to be a debate between Trekkies and Star Wars fanatics. Oh, dude,
No
it's
way.
gonna be awesome. So you need to join that. So look,
yes.
You know how we're in this podcast voice chat thing on our Discord, right? So I have another one called Hangout. Well, I'll change the name based on whatever I'm going to do. So the last one we did, it was going to be like a video game console debate, right? Which one's better, Xbox or PlayStation? The one before that, I said paintball's better than airsoft.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
It.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, so I said paintball or airsoft's for pussies, paintball's for real men. Y'all suck it, whatever. And I was just messing around, just stirring up some shit.
Yeah.
So, because I've had a lot of paintballers on here as well. But anyway, so the next one, these guys agreed, are going to be Trekkies and Star Wars fans. Okay. It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun.
No, I can't lie. It's such a fun conversation.
It really is.
It really is.
So, and I'm in the middle. I'm like the mediator because I really like both. So, but I'm not a fanatic about both or either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just, I like the old school, like what I grew up with, the original Star Trek. But
see, like I was more of a first generation type person. Like first generation was my favorite, and then maybe DS9 was probably my favorite 2 seasons. The original, like, don't get me wrong, the essence was fine. Like Kirk was cool, whatever. Spock was neat, but like, it's something about John Patrick Stewart, man. Like I could, like when I was in my acid phase, and I was doing it for like a year solid, and
Acid's
like I don't know what
great,
it would be.
bro.
I would fall asleep listening to John Patrick Stewart's voice on audiobook, or I would listen to it on Star Trek. And man, like I don't know what it is, but it got me totally involved with like the Star Trek universe. Like there was we were doing our wine class, and there's a certain way of curing wine, and it was like a maktuk or something like that. And I was like, it sounds Klingon. The teacher
it really
started
does. What? Oh, that's crazy.
I'm probably mispronouncing that, but like it sounded exactly like one. The teacher got the reference. I was like, yes. My 1 year of being a Star Trek acid head paid off.
And mushrooms, man. Mushrooms are great too. So
I only
it really expands it really kind of opened me up to be more in touch with nature, to be honest. I was like, oh, this is the spirit realm. Okay.
I remember for years when I was a teenager, I was hunting them down. I remember hours. I would sit in parking lots just waiting for people. I'll drive hours to go and get this just for the opportunity to get it. And I'd get stiffed all the time for like 2 or 3 years solid looking for it.
Okay.
Until one day, I'm sitting there playing video games with the guy, and we got in the conversation about it. And I was like, man, yeah, I'd like to try it. I've just never gotten to, like, I'd never met anybody that did. And he's like, well, yo, add me on Discord. So I added on Discord. And here the dude grew his own. And he had to connect for literally anything under the sun. He's like, what do you want? And I was like, well, let me try this. So I paid for some. I got some in. And I remember having the greatest time of my life. So I
Was it,
probably
you're
ate.
talking about acid?
Oh, this was mushrooms. This
Oh,
was
mushrooms. Okay,
mostly
okay.
mushrooms.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Acid. How was I introduced to that? Actually, oh yeah, that's right. I was with a friend of mine when I was like 16, and I spent the night over at her place. Her and her boyfriend invited me over to this hippie festival. It was like it was a fundraiser for local farms, whatever. So I decided to go there, and they got some acid, and there was these green gel tabs, and I remember eating two of them. And on the drive there, it was fine. Nothing was happening. Whatever. I thought I overhyped it. And I finally get there, and I go to the stand where somebody's standing at. I remember putting down my $20, and his hand just
And it did a tracer?
and I'm like, what the fuck? And I turn over to my friend, and she's staring at me with her boyfriend. They're like, yo, we gotta go. I remember turning around. There's people dressed as fairies. There's transvestites. There's people in metal costumes. Knights. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, they got to be freaking you out, bro.
I was loving it. I had a big smile on my face I
Yeah.
couldn't get rid of. And I figured that was the thing people were looking at. It was like, okay. So we get to the Jeep.
And the color green never looked so green, okay?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God,
Isn't that crazy?
Love neon.
It's so crazy. It's like it opens up some thing in your eyes that just, you see colors way different.
Well, they say that it's because it breaks down the pineal gland, or the calcification of the pineal gland that's been built over time from phosphorus, fluoride in the water.
Oh.
So
Really?
there's a theory saying that your pineal gland is like the thing that makes you, like, when you're a child, you're innocent, you see the world differently, right?
Yeah.
But as you get older and you age and you consume these commercialized things, you're not seeing the world for what it truly is, and it makes things bleak and you more docile to do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
However, if you're a free spirit and you decide to, say, I don't know, indulge in psychedelics, it breaks down the pineal gland calcification, allows you to see the world for what it is, and the truest form for what it is, allowing AKA you to be a child again.
Yeah, and that's the part that expands your mind. You're like, wow, okay, this is it.
And see, that I feel like that's a discipline thing, though, because there's people that'll do it and just be like, oh, I'm fucked up, whoa, and people try to flip the car because they think they're the Hulk.
Yeah.
But then there's also people that'll sit there and they'll learn something about themselves. They'll learn a lesson, or be like, they'll have ego death. Like, I'm a piece of shit. I probably shouldn't be drinking so much. I probably shouldn't be smoking so much. I should probably exercise a little bit, maybe eat a little better than what I'm supposed to. Yeah. And maybe that might be like the kick in the pants somebody needs to actually get their mind rolling.
Yeah.
But like, there's definitely like different impacts for different people.
That's true.
I've taken about 30-ish people on their first psychedelic experience, and whether that was acid, mushrooms, or dilethyltryptamine, it was usually like either you have somebody who wants to do it just because they don't want to be in reality anymore, and you have other people that want to do it because they want to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Now, the issue that people conflate with those things is if you're looking for that and that's exactly what you're going to go for and that's what you focus your mind on, you're probably not going to get out to it. Yeah. It's usually a thing where the universe is going to tell you something you need to hear at that point, and if you're not listening, you're not going to hear it.
Yep. You miss it. I've always had, maybe I'm just, I never wanted anything when I did it. I didn't want, like, oh, I want to feel, I didn't have a lot of expectation. Mm-hmm. So every time I tripped, whether it was on acid or mushrooms, I did peyote in Okinawa, but it was like what you said, the first one, like it was a lot of self-reflection, but positive. Mm-hmm. I always had good trips, man, like positive vibes. Never got dark, never, and I didn't, I mean, I had things in my life that I was like, I regretted or whatever, but I don't focus on that. I focus on the positive and moving forward and getting better. And it was always an eye opener. It was like another door opened each time I did it, to where, like, to my heart, like it made me more compassionate. It made me more in touch with other humans. And, because especially being in the Marine Corps, it's like this training is, it's all based on anger. Now, that doesn't mean that we are always angry and ready to shoot something. It's just all of our training it comes from kind of a negative place. Like it has to, like that's the thing, right?
Well, I mean, there's also righteous anger.
Yeah,
Like
true.
it doesn't always
That's
have
true.
to be negative.
But I guess it's not anger. It's more like a violence of action
Fury.
kind of. Yeah. So you're always in this training mode where it's like, and in Kenpo, they have, in a lot of martial arts disciplines, they teach violence of action, right? And, and that's like a thing that they teach. So whatever movement you do, be violent with it, be fast with it, be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just
you can't second guess
and,
yourself on a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's honestly, it's not only just bad for combat, but that makes bad qualities in a person. If you say things that you don't mean and then you retract them all the time, it's probably a characteristic that you might want to work on. Same thing with like following through.
Sure.
Like, you're gonna say something, you better go for it.
Yeah, don't hold back. But anyway, yeah. So it was always a good positive experience for me. I always had this like I'm more in touch with myself and other people. And I think that was a big thing that really helped me kind of see the world in a different place. Because growing up in the 70s, I was a lot of preconceived notions, a lot of prejudgments about other cultures and that kind of thing. Especially, my dad was in the Korean War. So there's this this idea that, those people are bad, we're good. And when I went to Japan, and then I took peyote the first time I ever did anything was peyote. And then I did mushrooms later. Japan has a bunch of mushrooms, or Okinawa does. I don't know about mainland. But so, and the buddy I was with too, and that sometimes matters as well, like the people you're around. So this dude was chill, man. He was like you, he loved nature. And I was like, he was like a hippie, bro. And I was like, and he's in the Marine Corps. I said, how are you dude, why did you go in the Marine Corps? So, but he was great to trip with. Just really like, yeah, man, like look at this and just look at something different. It's okay. Don't, so he kind of walked you through it. He was really good to be around. But, so those are I always had really good experiences. And I've been around some guys, some buddies that tripped and
not so good.
Oh, they were it was negative for him.
Yeah.
It was really, and I felt bad for him. I was like, no, you just need to, I guess I didn't know at the time. I thought, no, if you just go into it with this mindset, it'll help. But sometimes there's deeper issues that people have that don't come out because they're so pushed down. They don't come out until they do this. And then they go, oh shit. And it scares the shit out of them, I don't know.
I feel like that's the thing with people not being open, as you said, like they're very secluded. So like when they do go into that mind space, and it forces you to feel like those sometimes negative emotions. Like some people like desperately try their entire lives to never feel that. That's why they try alcohol. That's why they smoke pot. That's why they do X amount of things in order to completely disassociate themselves from reality.
Right.
Which, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, to each their own. However, in my experience, and at least from what I've viewed, it's not commonly the most healthiest thing, I should say.
No, for sure. Well, when you have this experience, when you have this love in your heart for just yourself and the things around you, like the environment and nature and living things, animals or whatever, and trees, all this stuff, and other people, right? Because, like so many people say, oh, I just hate people. I just hate people. And I'm like, well, number one, stop saying it all the time. Okay. Because you're training your brain to you're supporting that negative behavior and thought process. So stop saying it. But also, like for me, because I had such a good, loving experience, like doing these things, and I want people to feel that. I really do. I want somebody to know, listen, man, like I don't know you, but I really honestly love you. Like, and that's such a weird thing nowadays. People, it was really common back in the 60s when the hippie movement was going around. Have you seen this it's a new show or a new movie on Netflix called Jesus, I think it's called. I think it's just called Jesus.
I think I've like seen it, but I've never watched it.
You know who's in it is that Kelsey Grammer. What's his face from that show he did forever.
Which one?
Oh my God. See, this is why I can't talk about shit because I always forget. Frasier. It was that show Frasier. You know, everyone's heard of it. It's kind of like, you know, it's as popular as almost as popular as Friends. But anyway, he's in it. And then the guy plays the hippie in this movie. So this is it's based on a true story out in California back in the, you know, late 60s or early 70s when the, or maybe it was the 80s actually, the Calvary Chapel and all this kind of stuff came about and they were baptizing people. They had this huge movement. And this was like the biggest movement for hippies that came to this church. And it was a tiny little church, bro. And it grew like they packed it out. It's really, really good. But the point is this guy goes in and he's just like, he traveled around and talked to people and all his friends were like, you know, like they're trying to kind of spread this message of love. Even if they weren't Christian, the hippies were still saying, hey man, peace, not war, right? Like love, not hate, you know, all that kind of stuff.
I don't know what it was, but I was with one of my I was with an ex of mine, and I was tripping on mushrooms. Me and my buddy, we made a cup of tea, we shared the tea, and I don't know what it was about this experience. And this was the first time I ever met this girl. Like, but there was something like the universe told me that I needed to be at that point and convey a certain message to these people. Like, I believe I had I was Jesus moment, and I never I know it's blasphemy, and I get that, but like. I've never like experienced like I felt like these people were my disciples. I felt like there was like a message I was supposed to portray. I felt because I was supposed to have long hair and a beard, like I was supposed to be this modern Jesus. And I was like, holy shit, Marilyn Manson, this happens. Oh God.
No, man, it's a good thing, man. You're good.
Yeah. But like I feel like a lot of people, man, I feel like, especially back then, they were lost for community. They wanted to they wanted to build like a new structure of community. And unfortunately, like I love the hippie movement. It was great. Unfortunately, it also brought like a plethora of issues with it too.
Sure.
I could go on about like the social programs and like I can go on about like a bunch of different issues with like. Say diseases and maybe like drug use. Yeah. It wasn't hard as pot and mushrooms as much as we wish it was.
Sure.
And plus, like as much as they really wanted it to stop, say like Vietnam, like they didn't really do anything besides sit and build a movement that really didn't do anything besides listen to music. And
they didn't. Yeah, well, and that's what this movie talks about is like the. Well, because it's based on this true story and how this church started and everything, the bigger like hippie movement, it didn't have a direction. It didn't have it was kind of missing a little bit of organization. It doesn't have to be like military style organization, you know, super strict.
But it was missing goal.
It was missing a leader.
Yeah, it was just more like you do you. We'll all take care of ourselves. It was more like in my opinion, it was like the communism that was supposed to sprout within the U.S. or socialism that was supposed to sprout within the U.S. but never really took to fruition because socialism socialist utopia doesn't ever work. And I feel like that was the feel and the vibe and the energy of the hippie movement was the utopia that was supposed to be. However, there with that you also have massive amounts of like disorganization. So a buddy of mine, he used to tell me about this thing called the Rainbow Gathering, and it's a modern hippie gathering that people do. And they go to the local state parks, wherever, and they only announce it maybe 2 months before it actually does. So a family can go and gather in. And he used to be a part of this family, and he reminisces about these people all the time. And so like it's pretty much a music festival. So these camps are split up into two parts. You have the heavy metal section, you have the hippie section. The heavy metal section, you're allowed to smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, party, rage, whatever. Over here, you're smoking pot, you're eating mushrooms, and you're in a drum circle or a trading circle or whatever. And it was a more of a commune. So like there would be people who'd volunteer to come up. They would make pancakes for people in exchange for like, hey, can you go and get firewood and throw some or wood in the fire?
Yeah.
There was people who would go and just pick up trash. There's people that would go and take whatever they had in their bag, put it on the ground, and that would be part of their trading circle.
Yeah.
Just some like old school hippie shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like some badass stuff.
Uh-huh.
But like as like I love to think of myself like as an old school like wannabe hippie, but I unfortunately do see the flaws in said movement.
Sure. Yeah, I mean anything, right? That's once it gets big enough, it kind of falls apart almost. Like, because people get, well, we always strive for it. I think there's this idea that we can do, like, okay, we can make it work. Like, oh yeah, they didn't make it work, but we can. And as soon as we get, whether it's, whatever feeds into our ego, whether it's money or fame, popularity or power, where people, come to you and ask you stuff, and now you're this leader, and now you're able to make choices that affect all these people, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm better. Like when you're in that position for a long time, it's like you get this, your ego messes with you. It messes everything up. It's like this, I don't know. So unfortunately that, it doesn't last long term, but those communes and stuff, those were like the ideal was, hey, this can work on a larger scale if we get more people to do, part of this. But then you get that one guy that just messes it up, dude.
Like humans, I believe I believe that humans are innately evil, unfortunately, and it's disgusting to think of it like that.
Yeah.
However, we're in a time and a place right now in history where we have the most convenience and the most comfortability that anybody in the world has ever had.
Ever.
So that's why when we see evil acts being done, we portray it to be abominable. No one should ever do this, whatever. But there's more people thinking of these evil things than there are people of thinking good things. You know what I mean? It's easier to be an evil person and do disgusting acts than it is to say be a great person and be selfless and help your community.
It takes more work.
Yeah. And there's some people that'll be say evil and they'll be lazy and they'll take advantage of the people that are good and want to help.
Right.
Or like somebody who's homeless and they don't want to better themselves. And I mean like genuinely just want to panhandle. Those people will never, ever, ever they'll never do anything more than what they are. And it's not evil nor it's good. However, it doesn't go, it's neutral because they're being enabled to be the least person they could be.
Yeah, right. I heard it put another way too is, and I never thought of it like that. Cause I think we're taught like people are innately good, and I agree with both statements. Yes, I see what you're saying. Cause this guy in this business conference said, negative is automatic. It's automatic in us and it's automatic in nature. He said, if you dig up a whole plot of land and you don't do anything with it, just let it be, what's going to grow there? Weeds. So negative is automatic. The weeds are going to grow unless you do something to cultivate it. If you plant some corn and you don't touch it and you don't cultivate around, dig around and pull up the weed, like the weeds are going to outgrow the corn and take it over.
Yep.
Like negative is automatic in our universe and in us, in our minds. It's way easier to be negative than it is to be positive. It takes a lot of work to be positive. It takes daily discipline, like what you said in the beginning, this discipline. And it does. It takes you've got to kind of force that. Like if you're stuck in a house, when I was laid up, being paralyzed and I was stuck in a house and you're alone with your thoughts, right? Like I'm laying there, I can't do anything. I can't use my phone. I can't hold a book to read it. And you're alone with your thoughts. If I didn't actively work on it, Dude, there's a bunch of negative shit going on in my head. Okay. I gotta
That
really
knowledge out there.
take some effort to go, I'm focused on this, right?
Yeah.
And I think that over the years, like back in, through history, I think that's where religions in different cultures really helped people. And they still can. It still can. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Is there bad in religion? Of course. There's bad people that do bad things under the name of religion or whatever. Wars have been fought in, God's name or Allah's name or whatever. Yeah, man. Like,
Not crucifixions,
but
the Crusades. That's what
yeah,
they
the
are.
Crusades. Yeah, it's so there can be bad, but I feel like it helps for the majority of people. It really helps give them a focus to
Yeah.
this. I want to do this, and the feeling I have, this good feeling, I want others to feel that. So I'm going to spread this word, spread this message, whatever it is. So it can be a good thing, and it's really like you really got to focus to not be negative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And like that's like backtracking on the like whole religious thing, like yeah, for sure the like religion throughout history has always proven to be the best source of community. And I mean like not only in the aspect of having people around you, but you all have a common set of morals and like
Yeah.
goals to achieve. Now there are, say, like as you said, like the Crusades, which were obviously like horrendous fucking ways to force religion onto other people.
Yeah.
However, if you look back in the history, it was more or less like it was a big thing between Islam, Christians, and the Jews. They were all trying to fight for like prominence in the world
Yeah.
and like the major Judeo-Christian religion. Which I mean, like
Yeah.
now we kind of look back on it and be like, yeah, it's a little silly. We probably shouldn't be
Right.
doing that over some like idealistic bullshit. It's the same thing with like I shouldn't probably spread my country's borders for the sake of communism or fucking capitalism or some other bullshit.
Hmm.
But like modern day religions, say like Marxists, like I think Marxism is like a modernist religion, and that's what pulls people away, especially from religion. If you looked at any like Marxist, socialist, whatever in the past, say like Stalin, Mao, you even got Kim Jong Un, whatever the Kim regime, like they all nix, or even Hitler too, nix religion and put themselves on the top, the forefront
Uh-huh.
of like
They're an
I am
idol.
your savior. If it
Yep.
wasn't for me, you'd be starving and dead, even though
That's
I'm
right.
starving and killing
Even
most
though
of the
you're
population
starving and
anyway.
dying. Right?
So I mean,
It's
like,
that
I
propaganda machine, bro.
and that's how people get into like say cults. Like people
Yeah.
innately look for a community or some sort of common ground with people. We're very
Right.
social creatures. We need to endow ourselves in some sort of like societalistic rituals. Now, don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, the people, say me, who don't like to be around people all the time,
Yeah.
but you need to be around people. I'll go back to a hiking story. There was me and my grandfather hiking this place called Roush Gap on the AT, and there was this kid. He was about 20 years old. I asked him if he wanted to have a safety meeting. Sat there, rolled a little bit with him, talked to him, and he's like, "Guys, I really do appreciate this." He's like, "I've been out here." He was hiking from Maine to Pennsylvania, which is halfway point, and he was going to Duncannon, which would probably be another day or two trip for him. And he was like, I've been out here in this particular shelter for like 3 days. He's like, I'm not tired. I'm not hungry. He's like, I'm just drained. He's like, I just need social interaction. And I'm like, I totally understand that. I felt
Right.
that as soon as I walked up to him. And his name is Speed Bump. He's a Floridian, man. Shout out to you, man. If you ever see this, if you're doing well.
Nice.
But yeah, there's a sense of community, and it's not only good for like say the social aspect of it, but character building as well. Now that's not to say that you can't get like tricked into doing some dumb, crazy
Sure.
shit,
Absolutely.
but that's where say self-education comes in from. Like now that we live in the day and age of internet, you can now figure out any source of information that you want and make your own decision for yourself. That's why
Right.
like say like we don't attack other people for having a certain religion anymore. Like I as like say like I don't have really like a denomination. I believe there is God. I don't know what denomination is the true version of him, but I
Yeah.
believe that there is some sort of higher intelligent
Sure.
creation. Um, but nowadays you don't see like Christians attacking Muslims or Muslims attacking Jews, shit like that. It's more or less like we the religious people versus you the crazy mother. Like
Yeah.
It's usually that kind of fight. So it's shifted from like individualistic spiritual backgrounds now to like we need some sort of spiritual binding rather than you not thinking that we have any common moral grounding at all. Which is, I feel like most people who don't have some sort of spiritualistic asset, they don't understand where morals come from. They don't understand where like sense of like society and being come from. They think it's natural. It's not. Like it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. You can kind of call it pack mentality, but I do believe we need to be around other humans for spiritual growth, not only like mental and
Well, there's something we definitely put out. You know, that frequency we put out. Each person does. You know, from our body, from our heart.
It's
I guess.
The vibe, man. It's the vibe.
It's the vibe, dude. And we so the feeling you get when you go to you're in a large group of people, whether it's at church, you know, a charismatic song comes on and you're doing like praise and worship or something like that, and it's that unity with everyone and the close proximity with people that you feel that vibe, that energy, that positive whatever they call it, but it's like, dude, there is a noticeable feeling that it's almost tangible that you can't get when if I was watching it, I could be moved, you know, emotionally by music. Like if I was watching a praise and worship session on here, right on this monitor, I could get emotional, but I'm not going to feel what I would feel if I was standing in there next to people, dude.
And that's a good point. You know the movie that came out, Sound of Freedom?
Yes.
I went and watched that. And now I watched that. I watched that for not only the message, but just to pay tribute to whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, Jim Caviezel is awesome too, man.
I've listened to so many podcasts. I listened to podcasts when he went over his movie before actually watching it, just so I can get more in depth with it. And I remember watching the movie, and at the end, they're like, he's like, we encourage people, or no, it was during the podcast. He says we encourage people to go out and here and see this in theaters. We don't want people to sit in their rooms and watch this because you won't get the sense and the feeling and the fear and the sadness that you'll actually convey with other people. You'll miss the key emotions and the feelings that people around you are feeling. Maybe you're disconnected somehow from something in the world that these people are allowing you to connect to hold on to. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the same thing. You can even go to like a concert, like a rock show or a metal show. Man, like you have people beating the hell out of each other in a mosh pit, but man, you're still picking each other up.
But it's all for love, man. It's all for love.
You're still loving each other. Yeah, exactly. It's just different people, different things, and we all find community in unique ways, which is the coolest thing about fucking humanity and liberalism. Like we can express ourselves in the most stupidest way that even other people see, but we have a group that still finds us cool as shit, and we still make it look cool. It's like airsoft, man. We're LARPers with guns. We're role-playing military people. But you know what? There's some people that run out there in pink gear. There's some people that run out in skirts. Yeah. You know, they're still having a good time.
Good time.
And it's just all about like community and love. You know what I mean?
It really is. Yeah, it really is. Well, listen, man, what a good note to end on, too. It's been great meeting you, Nico. Thank you so much, man. I'm glad we got to work this out.
Heck yeah, man. I'm so happy I got to go on your show, man. I've been listening to this for months.
I appreciate that. Well, shout out to you and your team, your new team. Tell everybody where they can find all your stuff and any your team stuff and all that.
Gotcha. Right now, I'm still getting the workout for the team social media aspect of it, but you can find all my stuff on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I have a Rumble too, and I know it's not a huge community on there, but I still have it. It's at Nico's Outdoor Adventure, or Venture, Venture, not Adventure. I messed up by making it like that. It is what it is. But I don't have like awesome. A whole bunch of content on there right now. We're still producing, getting experience.
Good, man. Awesome. I'll have all those links in here too. So,
all right, brother. Man.
Yeah, thank you so much, brother. And you have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man. Peace.
Later, bro.